and some hotels and bars will be asked to close for 5 days for the Cinco de Mayo holiday, which starts today and lasts until next Tuesday, like a Labor Day holiday, when many Mexicans would normally get together. The government wants to minimize that, to minimize the risk of spreading H1N1.
I know you've been saying that many of the tourists are not too troubled by this, but what about the actual Mexicans who are working in these places, quite apart from worrying about their tourist industry collapse? How aware are they? Do they trust the government advice?
Here in Cancun, which depends on tourism for 70% of its income, a lot of the locals seem to be more worried about the economy than their health. Many people we've spoken to have seen their takings and their business drop already, and they're worried that after the scare passes, people will stay away. That's really what's concerning them. They feel we're some 800 miles away from Mexico City, and they feel the problem is mainly there, even though that's not actually true. We've seen the way that H1N1 has been spreading. Here, people don't seem that concerned. They say, yes, we are living with it, but very few people are walking around wearing masks, whereas in the capital, Mexico City, which has been the focus of the outbreak in this country, more people seem to be more visibly concerned.
Okay, very interesting. Rajesh, thanks very much.
Well, absolutely not, Shihab. I mean, as you say, the death actually occurred in Houston, but Brownsville was the place where this H1N1 flu virus really entered the consciousness of Americans. This is the place where they first heard about this fatal case. The Mexican child who died came across this crossing point just behind me, and he was taken ill here in Brownsville, taken to Houston, and died on Wednesday. But, you know, so you might expect that in this place there would be a sense of panic. I mean, this would, you might expect, be the place where, if anywhere in the US, people here would be extremely concerned. But that's really not the case here.
An industrial hog farm, because we know that this virus is a mixture of swine flu, bird flu, and human flu, and that has a possibility of transferring to the human population. It's very important to know what the root cause is, because that's the only kind of detective work.
It's a new virus, and nobody has any immunity to it, and so it is likely to sweep around the world and probably will cause a pandemic, and will cause significant morbidity and some degree of mortality.
So let's talk about some of the measures that the governments are taking. One of the things here in Asia they're doing across several airports is screening using temperature gauges for people with fever. What does that actually achieve?
It doesn't achieve very much, actually, because temperature screening will only detect those people who have got fever. Now, those people who've got fever are most viremic. They have the most virus in their bodies, and they're likely to spread it more than other people. But you must remember that all flu viruses, people are infectious for about 1 to 2 days before they have any symptoms. So people coming through the airports who have no fever of any sort can still be infectious to other people, and can then spread the virus when they get actually into the country. So all thermal screening at airports is likely to do is to delay the onset of the new influenza into any particular country. It will not prevent it. Nothing can prevent it.
Certains réclament maintenant la fermeture de la frontière avec le Mexique, une mesure gravissime qui concernerait des millions de personnes. Pour l'heure, le gouvernement tient bon, mais jusqu'à quand?
L'essentiel, la priorité pour le moment, c'est d'endiguer l'épidémie à l'intérieur de nos frontières. Mais fermer les frontières elles-mêmes n'aurait qu'un impact limité.
Les Pays-Bas toujours sous le choc au lendemain de l'attaque contre la famille royale. Un homme a précipité son véhicule sur un bus transportant la reine et ses proches lors d'une fête traditionnelle dédiée à la souveraine. Il a raté sa cible, mais il a tué 6 personnes. Lui-même est mort dans la nuit de jeudi.
As Mexico City shuts down, this crisis is costing it dearly. Every day the cost to business is around $60 million. Mexico's health crisis is swiftly becoming an economic crisis. Matthew Price, BBC News, Mexico City.
President Barack Obama has said it's not clear the H1N1 flu outbreak around the world is any worse than what he called ordinary flu, but he said government agencies in the US are preparing for the worst.
I'm optimistic that we're going to be able to manage this effectively, but we still have more work to do, and I'm glad I've got such a great team doing it. And I want to make clear to everybody, and the reason I brought this cabinet meeting together is that we are taking this very seriously, and we will take every single step that's necessary to make sure that the American people are safe.